Okay, my name is Mindy Sharp. I'm an English teaching major, and this is for CPSE 402, the Professional Learning Community Activity. So, I'm just going to act like I'm teaching a class of 9th, 10th graders, and I'll probably make up some of their answers. I'll probably add a little parentheses to explain what I'm doing in this demonstration, but more or less it'll be a practice in teaching Shakespeare. So here we go. All right, you guys, welcome to class. Welcome, welcome. As we talked last time, today we're going to start reading Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare time. And before we actually jump into the play, I want to ask you guys, what is it that you've heard about the experience of reading Shakespeare? Have any of you read Shakespeare before? Raise your hand. Okay, a couple of you. Johnny, what has it been like reading Shakespeare? Yeah, okay, he says it's really hard to understand. Sarah, you're nodding your head. Do you agree with that? Mm-hmm. Why is it so hard? Why is it difficult to understand what Shakespeare's saying in his plays? Okay, the words, mostly the words that he uses, some of them are so old we don't use them anymore. So the vocabulary might be what makes it so hard. Do you like his stories though? Yeah, me too. I love Romeo and Juliet. So, in order to help you guys understand what's actually going on in the play, we're going to be working with the vocabulary, okay? Because I promise that once you understand the words that Shakespeare's using, the vocabulary that you're unfamiliar with, you will begin to love his writing. You'll love what's going on, and you'll see why he is such a great master in English. So, I'm going to have Isabel pass out a vocabulary sheet. Thanks, Isabel. And once everybody has it, we're going to go ahead and read the instructions together. So, all right. So the instructions say, as you read Act 1 of Romeo and Juliet, write down 10 words you read that you do not know. Predict or guess what the word might mean based on the context or the situation that's surrounding those words. Then, and only then, may you use a dictionary or your smartphone, your tablet. We're going to be working with the technology to see how you can access dictionaries online. So once you find out the real definition, write that down in the final column. Okay? So that's only 10 words. You get to choose which words you want to use so that you can actually be engaged in the learning process and decide what you want to learn. And then there will just be 10 words, just for Act 1, okay? Don't use them all up in the beginning. Spread them out a little bit so you can understand the entire act. And then notice how learning the definitions of these words really helps you to understand what's going on and what Shakespeare's saying, all right? Okay, so any questions on the directions for this vocabulary sheet? Awesome. Let's get started. Everyone open up their books, please, to Act 1, Romeo and Juliet. I'm going to use my phone in this demonstration because I don't have an actual copy of the play, but in a real classroom I would. So, in a real classroom I would also ask the students to start reading, but I'm just going to read because there's no one else here to read. Okay. So we're going to start reading together, and we're going to do one example of this type of searching and learning vocabulary, okay? So that you kind of know what I'm talking about. I've written a larger version of your vocabulary sheet here up on the board so that we can work through it, the first word together. So here we go. We're going to read the prologue, and then as soon as you see a word that you're not quite sure of, raise your hand and we'll choose that word and we'll start finding a definition for it, okay? Act 1, prologue. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. Scene 1, Verona, a public place. Enter Samson and Gregory, of the house of Capulet, armed with swords and bucklers. Samson, Gregory, oh my word, will not carry coals. Gregory, no, for then we should be colliers. Oh, James, you said you don't know what that, you raise your hand. Okay, so you've never seen the word colliers before. Let's pause right here and look it up, okay? Actually, so first we gotta write it down on everyone write this down on your worksheet. The word is colliers. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. But here we go. Colliers, okay? Now tell me, look at the words surrounding it and tell me some of the words that might give you a clue as to what it means. James. Okay, so you said that Samson, right before that, says will not carry coals. All right, so he's talking about like the rock, right? Coals. So I'm going to write up here, not carry coals. He doesn't want to. Anyone see anything else? Well, okay. Ashley, okay, so you said they're in Verona. That might be a clue. Who knows? They're in Verona, Italy. So maybe the Colliers has something to do with Verona. Okay. Now, based on these context clues and what this looks like, what do you predict that Colliers might mean? Any idea? Okay. So since we're looking at, Samson says he doesn't want to carry coals, and then Gregory says, no, because if we did, then we would be colliers. So colliers might carry coals in some way. Maybe they're like a delivery man. Right, Andrew's shaking his head. Let's write like a coal delivery man or something like that. Maybe they have those in Verona, I don't know. Okay. Now, you ready to see what the real definition is? Let me pull this up on the board. This would, okay, parentheses. This would technically be projected up on the board, but I don't have that option right now, so we will just make a screenshot of it really quickly. m-w.com, the Merriam-Webster official website. It's a great place to look for definitions, okay? It's much faster than looking in a dictionary, but you can also use a dictionary if you need that. So we're going to look up our word collier. We're going to see what it tells us. Remember that we thought from the context clues that it might have something to do with someone carrying coal, because it was mentioned right beforehand. So, and down here is the full definition. Sometimes you have to look through the ads a little bit, but the full definition of collier is, number one that produces charcoal. Awesome. A coal miner. That's pretty close to what we predicted, right? Awesome. So, let's go ahead and write that into our our vocabulary sheet. Okay. So, a coal miner, that's pretty close. Awesome, guys. We just learned a new word, collier. Okay. Do you guys have any questions about what we just did up here, what you're supposed to do on your vocabulary sheet? Okay. So now I want you to form groups of 2 or 3 people, okay? Continue reading Act 1. Just read in a soft voice so that it doesn't get too noisy. And as you're reading, if you see words that you don't know, write them down in your vocab sheet. And then you can either take time as a group to stop, look at the word, look at the context, predict a definition, and then look up the official definition. Or you can wait until you're all the way done with the act. Let's turn in this worksheet at the end of class today. Okay? Awesome. The accommodations for some of the students will be as follows. Isabel helped me pass out the vocabulary sheets, and let's see. Brittany won't need any accommodations on this assignment because she loves working in groups. And Sean may work with his aide in order to work through the vocabulary and things. James and Isabel will not be required to do this vocabulary sheet. They can just watch the first act during class if they have access to tablets or computers or something like that. If not, they can read in the first act in their simplified books that we've provided for them beforehand. So, this is the end of lesson 1. Thanks for watching.